Hello everyone, this is Running on Empty Food Review. Well, hello ladies and gentlemen, and everyone watching. This is Running on Empty Food Review, and I am your host, the Report of the Week. So, I think the title is mysterious. I think you clicked on this and you're trying to figure out, what is this video about? Because it can't be about what his favorite items from McDonald's are. This has to be some sort of trick, right? Maybe he's just kind of into just making a trick here and just eating the stuff that he actually hates instead of the stuff that he likes, or something like that. But that's not the case. This actually is a video where I'm just going to talk about my favorite things from McDonald's. Now, in short, I think McDonald's is probably, at least in my opinion anyway, the most recognizable fast food chain. I mean, if there's one thing that we associate with fast food, I think it's the Golden Arches. I know when I was just a little youngin', probably the first place that I went to even get the fast food was McDonald's. You know, it's like there's one on every single street corner, anywhere you go. There's even one on the moon and one underwater. And they did actually make one for bees, believe it or not. That's a real thing. But they're everywhere. And everyone's got their favorites. Everyone has stuff that they don't like. You know? You have the one item, oh yeah, you gotta get this. This is my favorite. I love this. And I hate this. These are going to be my favorite items on the McDonald's menu. Alright, so we've got a sack of McDonald's right there. You can see the McDonald's Golden Arches for verification purposes. And we also have a mysterious canister of McDonald's beverage right there. And let's just take a crack at this. So what I did is, you know, they have the chicken and they have the burgers on the menu. So I decided, okay, I'm going to get my favorite burger, and I'm going to get my favorite chicken entree, and we'll just go from there. So let's start out with the burger, okay? Now this is something that's changed over time, actually, because it used to be one thing, then it changed to something else. At this point in time, my favorite item on the burger lineup is the Quarter Pounder with cheese. For a while it was the Big Mac, believe it or not, but this is one thing that was subject to change, and it actually did evolve. Because about a year ago, McDonald's, they redid the Quarter Pounder. They said, alright, we're going to improve the quality, we're going to use higher-end beef, fresher ingredients, and hopefully it'll pay off. And in my opinion, it did. Because I would end up getting this, and I thought, wow, there's actually a really substantial increase in quality, and it's at a good price too. You know, you're getting a good-sized burger at a good price, and it's quality ingredients. So here we go. The Quarter Pounder, standard. And the one thing that I always like about it, you can see it might not be the trademark bun, but you can see the patty right there. That is a higher-end patty on the McDonald's, at least on the McDonald's scale, you know? You're definitely getting higher quality, in my opinion, you know, more flavorful, juicy beef, if you ask me anyway. And I think it all blends together good, you know? It's a pretty basic sandwich, but as a result of that, I think it kind of goes out to its quality anyway. Where if they're able to just take a beef patty and some cheese, and, you know, just the pickles, some onions, some mustard and ketchup, and make that into something good without any need for anything too fancy, then I say that's a hallmark of a good sandwich, if you ask me anyway. So that's what it looks like. I'm just going to try it out, just so that hopefully it'll still be good this time around. Quarter Pounder with cheese from McDonald's. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Beef is very tender, very juicy. One thing I didn't mention that it also has is that salt, pepper, little seasoning on the beef that gives it that extra touch. You know, and just for a McDonald's burger, you're getting a good amount of beef, and it just tastes good. I'm just a fan of it overall. And one other thing that I like about this, and usually it's not the case, when I get my burgers from McDonald's, a lot of the time I'm not a fan of the cheese. I get it without any cheese. I'm just not a fan of the way that it goes. But this one, I don't know, the cheese actually it works well with it. There's some items out there that the ingredients, everything just comes together like it should, and you just don't have any complaints about it. The Quarter Pounder is one of those items. What do I like to wash it down with? My drink of choice from McDonald's is Coca-Cola. Now, this is one thing that I have to tell you. The Coca-Cola, in my opinion, has gone downhill a bit. That's the honest truth. It used to be perfect every single time. That's one thing that I've noticed. It always used to be the best. Like, out of all the fast food places, it used to be really on point. Maybe the machines were calibrated better, or who knows. And then it just started, I started noticing little discrepancies where sometimes it was just less flavorful than it really should be. Still good, though. Definitely a good thing, in my opinion, to wash it down with. But that's just the one thing. I've noticed that the quality on that has slid a little bit, but it's still a good pairing. My favorite side, I think it's self-explanatory, right? The onion rings. No. French fries. They're standard fries. That's one other thing that's a little hit or miss, here and there. But, you gotta get them. Get them as a meal deal. And, sometimes they're not the best, but this time, admittedly, you can see it's not like they skimped or anything. I've been snacking on them. These are good. They did them good tonight. Has that crispy crunch and a good amount of the salt on it, too. Just what you expect, what you hope for them to be. Probably the best way to describe it. Now, as for the chicken, this one has been a little tough because there are a couple chicken-related entrees that I'm a fan of. And when they had it on the menu, I was a huge fan of their barbecue glazed chicken tenders. All right, I was getting those all the time. But with those gone, I'm now a fan of their Buttermilk crispy chicken tenders. And these have been released since around 2015. And there they are. It's kind of the successor of the Chicken Select. There they are. The one thing that I like about these, actually there's a couple things. They're well breaded, right? They're crispy, and they're pretty flavorful. You get a good amount of chicken for what it is anyway. They're good for dipping, but the most important thing that I'm really a fan of with these is the fact that they hold their own. Like, they had the Chicken Selects, and they looked good. They looked like they were really breaded, and they had to be flavorful. But I would eat them, and it would be like they were really just lacking without any sort of dipping sauce. Now, these are great with dipping sauce. I always get them, usually with barbecue or sweet and sour dipping sauce. But the Chicken Selects was like they were reliant on this. You needed that just for any bit of flavor. Whereas these, they usually hold their own, even if you don't want any sauce, which is, again, a good sign that it's a good product. So I'm going to try these out, and then with some dipping sauce. Buttermilk crispy chicken tenders going in. Another thing that I'm a fan of with the chicken tenders is that they got that little bit of black pepper in the breading there that just gives it a little kick. Nothing too significant, but just that extra flavor, That makes it probably one of the reasons why it's just so easy to eat. without any need for sauce. But of course, I always do like to live on the edge and apply the barbecue sauce there. And overall, just solid, you know? You always have to remember when it comes down to McDonald's that you have to judge it by its standards, right? This is in comparison to everything on the McDonald's menu. These are my personal favorites. Now, there's other things that I like to get when I go to McDonald's, right? Sometimes their breakfast can be pretty good. Even the chicken McNuggets can hit the spot. And even on rare occasion, the McChicken sandwich is pretty solid as well. A Big Mac, you know, there's a lot of good staples on there. But out of all of them, these are probably my favorites in the whole menu there. So I do have a question for you. If you made it this far, what's your favorite item on the McDonald's menu? What is your go-to combination when you go to McDonald's? I'm curious. Leave a comment, share your thoughts, and I'm just interested in seeing what your thoughts are. So with that, that's all that I have for you. My favorite items on the McDonald's menu. Hope you enjoyed the video, and if you do want to support this channel, my podcast, and my radio show, consider supporting at patreon.com/TheReportOfTheWeek. It's a fun community. Make sure you check it out, patreon.com/TheReportOfTheWeek. Thank you. Take care. I'm your host, The Report of the Week.